Rich Dad, Poor Dad summary. A little bit of preface from my side. Since I graduated from university, I haven't read any books anymore. Somehow I'm too lazy for that. It takes so much time. Some books have even thousands of pages. How long does it take to read it? Weeks, months, or even years? So better to read a summary, which takes you only minutes. This book has about 200 pages, so actually it is possible to read it. Besides, it is sold over 30 million times. A book that is in high demand. Without further ado, let's dive into this Rich Dad Poor Dad summary. Here it goes. As a young boy, Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two very influential people. One was his biological father, and another one is the father of his best friend, which he called him as his second father. He refers to his real father as the poor dad, and based on the way how he deals with his finances. The typical parents, especially from the Asian background, want you to go to school, get straight A's, become a doctor, and work for money. He refers to his friend's dad, aka second dad, as the rich dad. This was also based on his mindset that having a good financial knowledge and starting a business is the most important secret to wealth. He learned great financial lessons from each father, which created the foundation of knowledge he needed to become wealthy. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about the lessons Robert Kiyosaki learned from each of his influential father figures and why they matter today about money and building wealth. In it, you will learn why the classical path, going to school to get a degree and find a good job, no longer works the way it used to in order to build wealth and retirement. In this book, Robert Kiyosaki gives first-hand personal experiences and explanations of the 7 main lessons he learned from his rich dad on how to build wealth. He compares them to the way his poor dad viewed money and how the old way of go to school and degree, find a good job just won't work to build wealth. The Rich Dad, Poor Dad summary lesson number 1. The rich don't work for money. If the rich don't work for money, then how do they become rich? It seems like a backward statement, but in fact it's spot on, and a major reason why many families and individuals fail to build a good retirement. So what exactly does this mean? The rich don't work for money because they make their money work for them. In other words, they purchase income-producing assets with the money that it can generate a consistent stream of income forever. These assets may be real estate, buying up small businesses, investing their money in growing companies, etc. Liabilities are everything that takes money out of your pocket. A car, for example, can be an asset or a liability at the same time. It depends on how you use it. In normal case, you have to spend money on your gas, insurance, maintenance, etc. In this case, that car is a liability. But that car can make money for taxi companies, so for them it is an asset. So if your money is hard at work and making more money, you don't need a job anymore because you can live off the earnings your money makes for you. That's why the title of the first lesson taught in Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Rich Don't Work for Money. The Rich Dad Poor Dad summary lesson number 2. Why to teach financial literacy. Many believe if they can just save enough money or win the lottery or something of the likes, that they will solve all the stress, problems and worries. The reality is money will not solve the problems and will soon be gone. In his own words, intelligence solves problems and produces money. Money without financial intelligence is money soon gone. That is why lottery winners lost it all after a few years. I remember reading a story about a 19-year-old guy who won $19 million but used it up within 1 year. I don't know how exactly to spend it all, but maybe it is because I've never won on the lottery before. So yeah, it is not difficult to make much money, but also to keep it, and even to multiply it, like the Germany's richest woman is doing. The basic concepts of how money works and why it is important to keep a portion of everything you earn and then turn around and make that money work for you are surprisingly unknown to most people. The Rich Dad Poor Dad summary lesson number 3. mind your own business. Keith Cunningham was a close friend of Robert Kiyosaki's and told him of an experience he had at the University of Texas. Keith was part of an MBA class that had the opportunity to listen to Ray Kroc, the owner of McDonald's. Ray met with the students after work for a drink, in which Ray asked the students in which business he is in. The students laughed at his question, to which he asked again in which business he is in. One of the students responded that he is in the business of making hamburgers. Ray responded saying he knew that they'd have that response, to which Ray corrected them and said, "I'm not in the hamburger business. My business is real estate." Ray continued to this whole focus of the McDonald's franchises was to locate the most potential geographical locations to place the McDonald's franchises. Today he owns more real estate than anyone in the world at some of the busiest intersections. The lesson working for someone else your entire life is often the direct result of the current financial struggle. Like Ray Kroc, our focus should be on building businesses and assets that produce indefinite income streams, resulting in choosing whether you want a job or not, since your income is not fixed and it continues to grow. The Rich Dad Poor Dad Summary Lesson number 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. The author mentions that the poor let their corporations manipulate them, whereas the rich know how to use the corporations. This means that the rich possess the knowledge and they use the power of the corporation to protect and multiply their assets. The advantage of a corporation versus that of the individual lies in how corporations pay taxes. Individuals earn money, they pay taxes on that money and live with what's left. Whereas the corporation earns money, then they spend everything they can and are taxed on anything that's left. People may not be aware of it. They work from January to May to enrich the government by paying income taxes. In the meantime, the rich are hardly taxed. That's why Amazon could make billions of dollars but still does not have to pay any taxes. That's why it is crucial to develop one's financial IQ. This is accomplished by gaining knowledge of accounting, investing, understanding the markets, the history, and the law. He says being ignorant gets you bullied, whereas being informed translates into fighting chance. The Rich Dad Poor Dad Summary Lesson number 5. The rich invest their money. The author illustrates that he borrowed $2,000 from a friend for a down payment, which he would pay back to his friend with $200 for interest. The $20,000 offer on the home was accepted with the down payment. He then bought the home and at the same time started advertising the sale of the same home for $60,000. He had multiple buyers at the price of $60,000 ready to buy, and he then sold that house within minutes. In other words, he took $20,000 and turned it to $60,000. The Rich Dad Poor Dad Summary Lesson number 6. Work to learn, don't work for money. In this lesson, the author gives an example of a great writer who went to school and got a degree in writing. She asked Robert how to be a great writer like he was, and he answered to her, mentioning she should try taking a suggested sales course. The great writer found this offending since she already had her degree. Robert responded by showing his book at the words best-selling author. She read it and he asked whether she sees what it says. It says best-selling, not best writing. In other words, she had a degree in writing, but he sold more books and made more money than her. The lesson here is that sometimes all it takes is just learning one more skill. In many cases, it would be just enough to push you to the next big success. The Rich Dad Poor Dad Summary Lesson number 7. Overcoming obstacles. There are 5 personality traits that holds people of getting rich. Fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. While it's normal to have fear, what matters more is how to handle it. Ask yourself, how do you respond to failure? That's basically it. I hope you like this article.